The Bearskin. Once upon a time, in a land surrounded by mountains and forests, there lived a young soldier named Sid. He was brave, loyal, and always stood at the front lines of battle. His courage earned him the respect of his commander, who often gave him extra leave during times of peace. But not all battles are fought on the field. After the war ended, Sid returned home only to face heartbreaking news. His parents had passed away. With no one left, he turned to his only sibling, his younger brother, asking for a place to stay. But instead of kindness, he received a cold rejection. Feeling lost and unwanted, Sid strapped his old rifle across his back and wandered into the woods, carrying nothing but sorrow and a broken heart. After hours of walking, he found himself in a quiet glade, surrounded by tall trees forming a perfect circle around him. He sat beneath one of the trees, alone, hungry, and hopeless. Suddenly, a strange rustle came from the bushes. Sid stood up alert as a mysterious figure stepped into the clearing. The stranger wore a long gray coat and had the air of someone noble, but something about him felt unsettling. His fingernails were unusually sharp and dark, like claws. "I know what you need," said the man in a deep, echoing voice, "but I don't give my wealth to cowards. You must prove your courage first." Sid's eyes narrowed. "How do I prove myself to you?" The man pointed behind him. "Turn around!" Sid turned and gasped. A massive, roaring bear was charging toward him. Without hesitation, he raised his rifle, took aim, and fired. The beast fell to the ground with a heavy thud. The clearing fell silent once more. The stranger smiled, revealing sharp teeth. "You've proven yourself, but there's one more condition." "What is it?" Sid asked. "For 7 years," the man said slowly, "you must not wash, trim your hair, or care for your appearance in any way. You must wear this bear skin, and wherever you go, you will be known as Bearskin. If you die within those 7 years, your soul belongs to me. But if you survive, you will be free and richer than kings." Sid hesitated, but then he remembered his empty pockets, his aching stomach, and the lonely road behind him. He nodded. The stranger removed his gray coat and handed it to him. "I am the Shadow Merchant. This coat will be your bed and your shelter, and whenever you reach into its pocket, you'll find a handful of gold. Take the bear's skin, wear it like armor. Now go, Bearskin." And just like that, the stranger vanished. A year passed. Sid, now Bearskin, looked like a wild creature. His hair was tangled, his nails untrimmed, and he carried the scent of the forest wherever he went. But he was never poor, thanks to the magical gold in his pocket. One cold night, Bearskin stayed at a small inn in a nearby village. As he rested in his room, he heard soft crying from outside his door. Curious, he opened it and found an old man sitting on the floor, weeping into his hands. "Why are you crying?" Bearskin asked gently. "My daughters and I have nothing left," the man sobbed. "We are starving, and winter is coming. I have failed my family." Without a word, Bearskin reached into his coat and gave the man a handful of gold. The old man's eyes widened in disbelief. "Why would you help a stranger?" he asked. "Because I remember what it feels like to have no one," Bearskin replied softly. The man held his hand to his heart. "Please, accept my thanks. I have 3 daughters. If you wish, you may marry one of them." Bearskin hesitated. "Let them choose for themselves." The old man agreed and brought his daughters the next morning. When the eldest daughter saw Bearskin's wild appearance, she screamed and ran. The second daughter turned her face away in disgust. But the youngest daughter looked at him, not with fear, but with kindness. "I see pain in his eyes," she said gently, "and I believe there is a good heart beneath that fur." Bearskin took off his ring, broke it in half, and gave one piece to her. "In 3 years, I will return for you." She nodded, her eyes full of wonder. Her sisters mocked her behind closed doors, whispering cruel things, but she held the ring close and said nothing. Years passed, and finally, the 7th year came. Bearskin returned to the same forest glade where the trees still stood in a perfect circle. The shadow merchant appeared again. "Well done," he said, grinning. "Few survived the 7 years." With a wave of his hand, he washed away the dirt from Sid's skin. His hair was cut, his beard trimmed, and his face shone with youth and strength once more. The bear's skin vanished, and with it, so did the stranger. Sid, no longer bearskin, dressed in a velvet coat, and rode a grand carriage drawn by 4 white horses. He traveled to the old man's house and knocked on the door. The man answered, confused. "May I help you, sir?" Sid smiled. "I'm here for your daughter." Before the man could speak, the youngest daughter stepped forward, eyes wide. "Sid?" He held out the other half of the ring. She took it with trembling hands. It fit perfectly. Her eyes filled with tears, the house filled with joy and laughter. But when her 2 sisters realized who he was, they were struck with envy and regret. They had laughed at Bearskin, and now he stood before them, noble and kind. Sid married the youngest daughter, and they lived in a home filled with warmth and wonder. He never forgot his years in the forest, the pain of rejection, or the kindness that had brought him back. Moral of the story: even in the darkest moments, kindness, courage, and patience can lead to the brightest future.